Hey, 8th grade, this is Mrs. Hollenbeck, and I'm going to introduce a WordMaster. And I'm on a time frame. So I'm in between church and another activity. You know how weekends are, just flying by. So I'm conquering two things at once. I'm having my caramel apple cider with whipped cream, my little snack of Cheez-Its, and doing this before I have to run off to another activity. So, if you don't have the list of words, or you haven't printed them off, they are on the digital locker, or in the digital locker rather, excuse me, and I will be giving you a hard copy on Monday. Okay. But if you are one of those who like to get a jump on things, okay, you could go ahead and get this taken care of. And bring questions to me on Monday. This assignment isn't due until next Friday. Alright, so just so you know, and we're not talking the Friday after Thanksgiving, we're talking the following Friday, which is the 30th of November. Alright. I think it was Emily GF asked me, okay, so what about the next 3 lessons? Well, understand that the next lesson, lesson 10, following that lesson, we have the big test, the 1 through 10, lessons 1 through 10 take-home test, and that will be done prior to going on Christmas vacation. In fact, I think we even get 11 done. So, maybe not. Maybe just that test and then we go on vacation. I have to look at my December planning. Anyway, keep that in mind. So, let's begin. You'll hear my dog in the background. Sorry, I might have to get up and let her in. I don't know. And there are going to be people coming in pretty quick here, making a racket. So let's hustle and get through as much as I can. You know, this WordMaster lesson is just filled with, or one of the words that we have, riff with words that are either really closely related as synonyms or as antonyms. Okay? The first word, I don't know quite why they threw that one in, but here we go. The first word is Dale. And we're not talking chipmunk here. Even though a lot of the words from the 7th grade group, boy, they're in Disney films left and right. I was like, oh yeah, we could just play these songs, but not so much in yours. Okay. Dale is the first word. It is a noun. And you could, I mean, if I played the fight songs, I don't know if this is the Army one, or the Marines, over hill, over dale, we will hit the dusty trail, you know. So a dale is like a valley. So you're going up, over hill, over dale, alright. So I don't know how you would go over that. Oh, walking over it, I suppose. Anyway, dale is a noun. So find it on the list. And I gave you a list with the matching the definitions, mainly because that's what your quiz is going to look like. Okay? Alrighty. Our next one, number 2, is burgeon. Burgeon. And burgeon is a verb. And burgeon, you maybe have heard of it with regards of, in the context of it being used as an adjective. A burgeoning economy is one that is just growing big time. And you may have heard burgeon in science class, in life science, to plant something, and if there's a sudden growth, there's a sudden burgeoning. Okay? So it's sudden growth. There may be, out in where my husband teaches in Parker, that's a burgeoning community. It is, I mean, stores and homes are sprouting up all over the place. It's crazy. All right, I think that's where they're putting the new Cabela's, is out there. So that's virgin, and it's a verb. Okay. Coherent. I'm going to take a look at coherent, and then I want to take a look at its opposite, which is also on here. Now, we've had the word coherent either in 8th grade or 7th grade, but I think it was on an 8th grade list. Coherent is an adjective. And I use the example, I wanted you to make sure that your essays were coherent. They are connected logically. One thing moves to the next. One topic sentence leads into then the detail to the support, this sort of thing. Okay? That they are set up in a logical manner. Not like our conversations on the phone where it's this random thoughts here and there. Okay? If it is coherent, it is connected logically. Now, if we want to skip down to word number 9, disjointed. Well, that's the opposite. If something is disjointed, there are breaks at the connect points. It doesn't fit together well. It's like that puzzle piece, or those puzzle pieces that we try to get to fit together using a hammer, but they just don't fit together. There's no way. They don't belong together. And so if something is disjointed, if your paper or essay is disjointed, it doesn't logically flow. At points where there should be a connection, there is no connection. Okay? The thoughts are disjointed. And that's typically what our conversations are. Over the phone we jump from topic to topic as our random thoughts, well, at least mine do. Okay? I think of something, oh yeah, and that sort of thing. So coherent, adjective, and disjointed is also an adjective. And you know what kind, because it looks like a verb. It's a participle. So if we were going to diagram disjointed, it would go on that little boomerang thing, right? Caramel apple cider, yum. Okay, back up to number 4. Vitriol. A vitriol is a noun, and it's vitriol would be the adjective. It's anything that can be really negative in effect. All right? This has happened to me in college classes. I remember one, the professor just kind of went off on this group that I was working with, I'm part of this group, we were doing something, and she just went off on us. And it was a definite vitriol. Very, very negative, extremely critical. And we hadn't even given our whole presentation or anything. She was just having a bad day or something. Something else was definitely going on, because she wasn't as bad. She wasn't very, very nice, but she wasn't that bad. She just went off on us. And, this is college. We're all adults, and we're kind of going, what is going on? It was extremely critical response. That was a vitriol. All right? Just went off on us. Okay? Rarely have I ever experienced that. But with that professor, I did. And I'm trying to think of any other context where, in chemistry, it's a chemistry term. So when you look this definition up online, probably like you will, you'll see it has a lot to do with mixing chemicals and the reaction. If it's a very caustic, a very negative reaction, that is a vitriol. All right. Watching Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, I like that movie. Anyway, when they're in when the lizard guy attacks the school and he's going after Peter Parker and he mixes these chemicals and he throws it into, I have people coming in, and he throws it into where Peter Parker is, and Peter Parker is changing, you know, trying to change real quickly to come up as Spider-Man, you know. And there's that explosion. Those chemicals mixed together create a vitriol, or a vitriol. Okay, excuse me. I was trying to do too many things at once here. Oh, our next one. Let me see if there's another word that I wanted to. Oh, yeah. Go to 16. I think I could connect that. Remember when I was talking about the professor that went off on us? She would have been classified that day as a harridan. All right, a harridan, and we've had a definition that is a synonym for harridan. We've had that in. I'm recording my vocab lessons. Okay, we've had that word, the word shrew. Okay. Well, certainly that woman was a shrew or a harridan that day. I'm not saying that she was always that way. She was not really the most pleasant of people, but she wasn't usually that vicious in the attack. But harridan would certainly be one, and harridan is a person now. All right, actually a female person now. You would not call a guy a harridan. Okay, it's just a description reserved for women. Yay. Okay. Go back up to number 5, lobby. I think that's one that's going to be easy for you to identify. It could be a noun or a verb, especially because of our recent elections and the whole political process. You understand what lobbying is. The verb form, you know, people might lobby, they might speak with people and in order to try to get their vote of support on a special interest of theirs, okay? So if you lobby, that, and we kind of get the noun term in there, lobby, you know, where you stand outside in the outer room, that's the lobby, okay? And that's usually where lobbying takes place, and then people go in and vote, okay? Either at, you know, in our state capitol building, they'll hang out in the lobby, talk to people, try to get them to persuade them, and then people will, our representatives will go in and vote. Okay, so that's how to lobby, and it's also the noun, a lobby where people stand to lobby. Okay, a friend of mine who works, he's an accountant. He goes every February to lobby in Washington with regards to the tax laws and this sort of thing. Okay, so it's a noun and a verb, remember. Okay, number 6, it's a word that we've had before, condescending. I think you had it in 7th grade, okay, but I know I've used that word before. Condescending, and then if you would, I'm looking over at my copy of the list, go to word 20, because those two words go together, okay? Condescending is the adjective, deign is the verb, okay? So if a person is condescending, they're going to stoop they're going to treat you in a patronizing way, making sure you're given, making sure you know that they think that they're better than you. All right, and that they are lowering their standards to talk with you, to interact with you, to hang around you. All right, so a condescending nobody likes to be treated in a condescending way. All right, it just makes us feel like we are less than. Okay, so condescending is the adjective. Deign is the verb. Deign is the actual action of condescending. Okay, deign, if I deign to hang around you, it means, oh, okay, I'm going to stoop down to your level, you know. And if a person deigns to do that, they're going to make sure you know that they are stooping, okay, that they really believe that they deserve this sort of treatment, but they're going to go ahead and, you know, slum it with you, okay? So deign is the verb, and that's all it can be. Condescending is the adjective. It's a participle, so it looks like a verb, okay? But it's usually, there's a noun after it, okay? All right. So those two go together. Number 7 is pronounced spat. All right. It looks like spate, and it's not really a long A. It's just spet. All right. And a spet, it's a noun. Okay. And this is word, boy, this one I've never used. I've never used this word. But it is, it's an easy one. I don't know why I haven't. I think I probably use deluge instead. And that's a word that I'm more familiar with, but it means the same thing. An outpouring, all right, a flood of some kind, not necessarily water, all right. A spet of love, a spet of kindness, all right. And that's an overwhelming flood of, or an inundation of love or kindness, all right. Hopefully, we are demonstrating a spet of love towards Lily, an outpouring of love for her. I got pictures, and I'm going to try to download or upload, I forget which one I'm doing, so that we could see next time we have chapel, because she's lost her hair and everything. It's just kind of peach fuzz, still just the sweetest thing, and really how the family is just so, this sped of love is just really, that's the church in action. All right, so it's kind of neat to see. Anyway, that's what spet means. All right, that's number 7. Now, ingratiate, number 8, 13, 15, and 24 are all so closely related. All right, and this one, you know, I tell you, don't base your knowledge on Disney, but I'm going to bring in Disney on this one because a perfect example. 2 movies that really give us the perfect example. I'm looking at Hercules. Remember the two, if you've seen it. Those of you who haven't seen it, I'll give another example. Oh, I could even give another. The 2 little demon thingies, pain and panic. Those 2 things those are the little critters we're going to talk about. Also, in Beauty and the Beast, Le Fou, which means the fool, Le Fou, he was the guy who sang, and more people coming in, he was the guy who sang No One Hits Like Gaston. You know that song? That's my favorite song. Anyway, he sings that. And then in The Little Mermaid, Sebastian the crab, he was what we're going to be talking about here, okay? So, the first word, ingratiate. Ingratiate is a verb, all right? That's all it could be, is a verb, okay? And ingratiate means that you do stuff, you do actions to try to get somebody to be grateful to you. So you work your way into their life and do things that will make them grateful to you. Okay? And typically, it's to bring about personal gain. So you're not doing this just to serve. You're doing this because you have ulterior motives. You have selfish motives. You ingratiate yourself, meaning you're trying to get in a position where they might owe you, or they might be so thankful that, oh, I'll do anything for you. All right? Yeah, so that's kind of a negative sort of thing. So ingratiate, doing things to make people really grateful to you, to try to win favor from them. That's all you're doing. It is a selfish thing. Okay? Apple cider break. Now, let me explain how the other words work with that. If you go down to 13, 13 is a person noun, a sycophant. Sycophant is the type of person who would ingratiate themselves into a person's life. Okay? So, remember Pain and Panic, how they're always pleading with, what's his face, Hades, and just saying, oh, you're the best, oh, we're worms, blah, blah, blah. They are sycophants. They are trying to lower themselves, but really they're trying to get in Hades' good favor, so A, he won't hurt them, and B, maybe he'll reward them. Okay? So a sycophant, they can't be trusted at face value because you don't know if they're really trying to help you or help themselves. Alright? And Le Fou in Beauty and the Beast, same thing. Same thing. And same with Sebastian to some degree in Little Mermaid. Okay? You know, Flotsam and Jetsam, the eels for Ursula, they were henchmen. They weren't trying to, you know, ingratiate themselves. They're just henchmen. All right. The other examples, their motivation is to try to gain favor from the person. All right. Flotsam and Jetsam and Flotsam, they were just evil, like Ursula. Okay, evil henchmen. Okay, or lackeys. That would be a good term for them. Okay, so a sycophant, and maybe you could think of another sycophant, if you can. If you've seen something in the movie, you really get this definition. Write it on Dr. H. All right, let's share sycophants. Okay, these people who are just trying to gain favor. They and so they'll compliment, they'll serve, but they have a hidden agenda. Okay, one way that sycophants manipulate is through word number 24, fawning. Now, fawning can be an adjective or a verb. You could have, it could be that participle, or it can be a verb. I think I gave you a verb definition on here. If you are fawning over someone, you are being overindulgent to them. You are for the purpose of gaining favor. You are complimenting. Oh, that is the cutest outfit. Oh, that hairstyle. Oh, this. Oh, that. And by the way, could you validate my parking? You know, just this sort of thing to try to gain some sort of reward back. Okay? The complimenting is bogus. It is false. Alright? But the sycophant will fawn over the person with whom they want to gain favor. That's how they work. That's how they manipulate. Okay? And so you remember the song from Beauty and the Beast? My favorite verse with LeFou and Gaston. No one plots like Gaston, takes cheap shots like Gaston. No one persecutes harmless crackpots like Gaston. Right? He's fawning over him to try to gain some favor. Okay? So that's fawning, sycophant. And there was one more. Go back to 15. 15. Unctuous. Unctuous. An unctuous, that's an adjective. The OUS should have given it away. An unctuous person is kind of overly flattering. You could tell there's hidden motives. Okay? Oily, greasy, overly pious could be another. Very moral, very upstanding, but they appear false. All right? Their unctuous behavior might not match, or their unctuous words might not match their behavior. Okay? Now, is everybody guilty of being unctuous at times? Oh, yeah. Or a sycophant? Yeah, we're all sinners. But an unctuous person is one who, this is their regular, okay? Because this is how they operate. A player, the unctuous person, the typical idea that we have of a used car salesman, okay? Yeah, or, who was it? Some guy was trying to sell me a phone, and you know, he delves out all this flattery that is like, dude, I know what you're trying to do, alright? And so it's fawning, and it's like, it's sickening, you know. Just give me, just tell me what you want to say. Like, I want to sell you this phone. Here's what it has, and just stop with the other garbage, right? Okay, so we got quite a few of those out of the way. Okay, let's see. Number 10, I think I haven't done number 10. Number 10, privation, it's a noun. Okay, it's a noun, and privation means being deprived, being in a state where you're deprived of life's necessities. Okay. A homeless person might be living in privation, okay, where you don't have the basics, the very basics in which to survive. Okay, that is privation. The opposite of that could be, I'm looking for it, number 21. Riff is how it's pronounced. Now, isn't that interesting? We had two words where it has that E at the end, but we don't have a long vowel sound. Spat and riff. If something is riff, there's an abundance. Okay? I mean, tons. There's an abundance. Okay? So privation and riff is an adjective. Okay? So privation is the lack of, riff, there's abundance. Okay? So we have a couple of others that are very similar in meaning. Let's see here. Inveigh is something that I should have related this with 16 and 4. Inveigh would be, it's a verb. And this is what a harridan would do. This is, if you inveigh someone, you yell at them. You attack them verbally. You are on their case, and it is ugly. It is vitriol. Okay? It is ugly. You may be protesting a situation, okay? But you're in attack mode, and it's ugly. Okay? So that's what inveigh means. Okay? I remember that when I said, inveigh, get my way. You know, I'm going to inveigh if I want my way. Okay, which is not always the best. Okay. Okay. The next word, 12, is wayward. It's an adjective. A wayward individual is one that's taking the wrong way. He's willful. She's taking her own, I'm not choosing what's best, but taking the wrong path. All right, and just everything that is good and right, they're just going the opposite direction. A wayward child is going the opposite direction. Okay. Our sermon this morning was on the prodigal son, and yeah, definitely wayward. Okay, just knew what was right, took the opposite. Okay, but thankfully God forgives and restores relationship. We got that. Forgo. If we have not had this word already, we will. Okay, forgo is a verb, and forgo means we're going to do without. We're going to abstain. For instance, next week, we'll forgo a vocab lesson. Okay? We're not going to push one in 2 days. Okay? We might forgo other things that we would typically do because of time constraints. Okay? If we're running behind schedule, or we have a severe warning practice, we might forego some lessons. Okay, on Friday, I decided that we would forego a language lesson so that we could take our vocab test. Okay, so forego is a verb. Okay, and it means to not do, to stay away from. Okay. I think I did the others. 17, I did 15 and 16. 17 is a verb. Uphold. We use this, you hear this in church services, in our hymns, in our songs, because God upholds us. He keeps us from sinking. It's a verb. He lifts us up when we are, just stuck in a mire of sin. He restores us. He upholds us with His righteous right arm. Okay? So uphold means to lift up, to raise. Okay? 18. Oh, come on in. It's okay. It's all right. Rapacious. Rapacious is an adjective, and rapacious is... Chloe's going to come in. Chloe's going to come in and say hi. Hello. Yeah. Rapacious. Now she's going to go play Settlers of Catan. You guys like that game? She loves that game. Playing with her sister. Rapacious, adjective. Rapacious. Oh, you could remember this. Another, I think, is Pirates of the Caribbean is Disney, right? I think so. Anyway, pirates are rapacious. They are greedy. Greedy. And they might have stuff, might have enough stuff, but a rapacious person is one who, they have some stuff, but they want more. Okay? Always wanting more. That's a rapacious, individual. Okay. Number 19. A tricky word to pronounce because it looks like imbroglio, but it's embroil. Embroil. You don't hear that, don't pronounce that. It's an Italian word, and it's a noun. It's a noun, and it's a big, huge, heaping mess. Okay? If you are in an embroil, it means you are locked in a quagmire, a major, intricate mess that you can't get out of. Alright? That, boy, you need some divine intervention to get out of it. Okay? It's an intricate problem where, and I don't know, in your young lives, I hope you haven't been in these situations where it's a catch-22 almost. There's no real way to get out of the situation that somebody's not going to get hurt. Alright? And it's just a bad situation. Alright? Frequently, people who are wayward in their actions find themselves ultimately in an embroil. Okay? In an embroil. Okay? That's tough. Alright? Because, man, but sometimes people need to hit rock bottom, and get into such a place where all they can look is up, for God, for rescue. Alright? And He will always. He will be there. Okay? I believe I defined 20. I did tell you embroil is a noun. Okay. Alright. 20 is I defined. 21 I defined. 22 is also a word that we hear in church easily. When we make supplications, alright, we are making requests of God, a pleas to God. A supplicant is a person who makes requests, who pleads. Okay? A lobbyist might be a supplicant. Alright? Begging for support. Alright? We know our pleas to God, He's truly the one who can deliver. So we are supplicants when we pray and we plead and we beseech Him. Okay? Person now. We had one other person now. Did you remember it? The sycophant. And make sure you send me some sycophants that you know of. Okay? Give me their name. 23, abdicate. Now I know we've had this vocab word, or we're going to. Many of these are in our book. It's kind of amazing. Abdicate. If you abdicate, it's a verb. And this is giving up a specific right or privilege or power. You relinquish it. You give it up. The best example I could think of right off the top of my head. I don't know if any of you have seen the movie The King's Speech, nor should you necessarily. It's rated R because of it's rated R only because of one word usage. Otherwise, it's a really good movie. It's about Elizabeth II, her dad, had a speech impediment. Well, his brother, his older brother, was going to become king when the dad died. And so the dad dies, and his older brother becomes king. Well, he abdicates the throne because he falls in love with an American woman who's divorced, and he wants to marry her, and that's against their rules. So instead of giving up the gal, he gives up, or he relinquishes, he abdicates the throne. He gives it up. And so Elizabeth II's dad gets the throne. Okay? And it's right in the time of World War I. Okay? So lots going on, a lot of tension and stuff. And so that's an example of what abdicate means. We did number 24 already, so let's end with word 25. Word 25, shortfall. It's a noun, and let me kind of give this example. This is how much money we want to make, but this is how much money on our fundraiser. Let's just say, okay, in our fundraiser, not our library one, because boy, we didn't have a shortfall there, but let's say let's pretend we did, okay? In our book fair, we wanted to make $6,500, but we only made $5,000. That $1,500, that would be the shortfall. Okay, it's the quantity that is less than the goal, okay, or the desired amount. So if there's a shortfall, there's a deficiency. It's the deficiency, okay. Let's say we wanted to do 250 Christmas boxes for Operation Christmas Child, and we only got 200. Then there would be a 50 box shortfall. Okay, make sense? Okay. Well, if you have any questions, especially the next exercise, you can ask me on Monday. Also, I want to let you know that on the 30th, we will have the quiz. These worksheets are due, and we will have the quiz. Now, this is the quiz that is going to count. It's going to count as a grade. All right, it counts as a grade. The actual analogy B won't be for until the next week. All right, because I'm not supposed to give it until the next week. All right, so just so you understand that. Okay, and Kelly, for those who are new, the quiz, which we will take on Friday, looks exactly like the first page with the matching of the definition. The only difference is I switch up the definitions. All right, I give them the different letters. I just switch them up, and it's real obvious because I cut and paste, and some of them are crooked, you know. It's the exact same wording and everything. Okay? So, anyway, thanks, and we'll see you later.